Do you guys know Paul McCartney? Paul McCartney, Beatle from the Beatles. Not the insect, the band. Well, this lady sure does, because she's been a fan of him since 1964, since the start of the Beatles. And finally, her time to fuck Paul McCartney has come to fruition. Now that her husband is dead, she can finally get some ass. And it turns out she's going straight for that Paul McCartney sack.
Are you kidding me?
The only problem is, this is not a story with a happy ending, because what I'm telling you is a literal catfish / romance scam between a Delulu lady and her Delulu feelings of Paul McCartney. The worst part of all of this, by the way, is that she doesn't seem to know what Paul McCartney sounds like, because at some point, the scammer who scams her uses AI music. And Paul McCartney kind of sounds like Morgan Wallen. It's a tale really that I need to show you rather than tell you, but whenever I see scamfish, it tickles me. It tickles my pickle, really, when I see celebrity scamfishes, because I'm like, have you not been living in society in the last, I don't know, 70 years? And seemingly none of these people who are getting celebrity scamfished are in touch with reality. So it's always just so much, it's fun for me to look at some of these, and specifically Paul McCartney, because I'm such a big fan of the Beatles. I want to see where exactly the anthology stops moving in her head, where she forgets about the Beatles. I think I can pinpoint this. This will be a good episode. Please sit your keisters down. Let me take you through episode of Scamfish Celebrity Scamming.
This woman is convinced she's in a relationship with music superstar Paul McCartney.
Just by seeing her face, I could already tell she's got the enthusiasm of someone who has lost $300,000. You know what I mean? She's like so enthusiastic about losing money. A lot of these older people on the show, it's like they want to get scammed. It's almost like a rite of passage. You're like, oh shit, I'm 60 now. Fuck it, lose my money. I don't know. I'm waiting for my dad to be like, shit, son. Have you seen girl from Acting Girl, Jennifer Lawrence? I couldn't think of a name.
First time I saw Paul McCartney's picture, I fell in love with him. Hi, this is Paul. And then he said that he loved me.
That's about right. Gene has got a message from Paul McCartney, who, you know, is famously lonely because he's part of the band Lonely Island now. He's like, what I need in my life is Gene. Not jeans, Gene. Not Jesus, Gene. So he's going for Gene. Paul McCartney, Beatle, billionaire. But okay, Gene. He needs some Gene.
All right, so what's in the pipeline for today?
We have a 77-year-old woman who's engaged to Paul McCartney from the Beatles.
Yeah, I'm glad that Drew actually said that Gene is engaged to Paul McCartney from the Beatles. Because if he didn't say that, I'd be like, Paul McCartney from where? The Store? Yeah. From the band Wings? Who's Paul McCartney? I'm glad that we're all on the same page. It's like the Paul McCartney, not just a Paul McCartney. So it's such a common name.
She sent $300,000 for property tax in France.
We've gotten to the point where we could just say things like, she sent $300,000 in taxes. Just like it's a normal day at the office. Because at this point it is. Nowadays, if you're spending less than 100K, you're actually on the back end of Scamfish. People are like, you're like small fry. Okay, what, you spent $2,000? Get to the back of the line, Junior. I spent not only my entire retirement, I spent my husband's, and he's dead. I spent his inheritance on Paul McCartney, because Paul McCartney's a broke bitch. We all know that.
And somehow the deal still needs $400,000.
Yeah, so she mistakenly didn't pay the whole estate off. I don't even know what the hell Drew is talking about, but apparently she was paying off Paul McCartney's house because, again, those Beatles songs don't go as far as they used to. Nobody listens to the Beatles anymore, right? Am I right, guys? Cool. Let's listen to the email. Let's read it. Let me read it.
I'll get to the email. Hello, Catfish team.
Hello, Catfish team. My name is Haley. And my grandmother, aka Meemaw, that's another red flag right there. Yeah. Just the word Meemaw, it always follows eternal sin. She's problems. Is currently communicating with someone who says,
Miss Haley and
they are Paul McCartney. She has been a Beatles fan my entire life. After losing her husband, this person made her feel loved, valued, and protected. She probably was listening to the songs. He says he wants to marry her in Paris, but there is a real estate situation in France that requires $700,000 in property tax. She already sent $300,000 though. Oh, through cryptocurrency, and is now being told the rest still needs to be paid. I would say that if I was like someone's grandson or granddaughter, if I had a memoir of my own and memoir was like, oh, I gave Paul McCartney $300,000, I'd give her a slap. Honestly, go to Tekken 7 and maybe kick the shit out of my grandma. I'll just be honest with you, because I'd be like, I need some of that money. You can't be so senile that you're giving it to Nigeria always. Like, unless your grandchildren are from Nigeria, please give it to me first. Stop. It's just very insensitive. Grandma could be getting me a nice house, but instead she's financing Paul McCartney again. I don't like that.
But she needs to know where her money is going.
My grandmother believes this is the real Paul, but she needs to know where her money is going before she sends everything. She already sent $300,000. This is not the time that you're like, hey, by the way, are you legit? This is like being in the sea and then being like, oh, I can't swim. It's not the right time. This is like too late for that shit. Please reconsider. Okay.
Money is going before she...
She's so done. I'm so done with Jean. I don't even know her. I'm done with Jean.
My name is Jean, and I'm currently communicating with somebody who claims to be Paul McCartney.
That's always a good sign when you can start your relationship off with, he claims to be Paul McCartney. He claims to be who he is, guys. My boyfriend claims to be who he is. My girlfriend claims to be real. I haven't seen her, but she claims to be real. My girlfriend sounds like ChatGPT.
Hamas! Ow! Yeah! Neck fell off! Yeah!
I don't know. She always answers questions in that ChatGPT like... She gives me options at the end of every sentence I ask. I don't know why. She also, I have to pay for credits for my girlfriend. I don't know. We're dealing with like the old generation here. Facebook and a few beautiful messages. Good morning, beautiful is all it takes for $300,000 to get out of your wallet.
And I have to confess that the first time I saw Paul McCartney's picture, I fell in love with him.
Okay, so much like Beatlemania and everybody else who saw the Beatles for the first time, Americans who now have taken to South Koreans and lots of bands, they used to have Beatlemania. They actually used to like people from England, believe it or not. And Paul McCartney was one of those people. Now, as soon as she saw this beautiful bass player, she was like, that's my guy. So did everyone else. She waited 60 years.
In his younger days, he was super good looking.
Now he's an old turtle looking piece of shit. He was so good looking in the black and white pictures. I just wish he would stay in black and white, actually. Now when I look at him, I'm disappointed what he's become. Why did she say it like that? That's such a mean, like, he used to look so good looking. I mean, back in his young days, you know. But now he's all right.
Kind person, a compassionate person. And my constant prayer has been to meet him sometime in my lifetime.
She speaks about him like she knows him, you know what I mean? This is like a little bit embarrassing. He's super kind. And oh man, he's so compassionate. I haven't met him. I pray to God every fucking day that I'm gonna meet him. People will be like, what do you pray for? Do you pray for the kids in Africa to have food? I say, fuck no. The less the better. I pray for Paul McCartney to meet me. Oh, I'm sorry. I pray to meet Paul McCartney. Either way, vice versa. Shout out Paul McCartney. Hashtag McCartney.
On their first tour of the United States in 1964, they came to Pittsburgh.
I'm very sad that the tickets were $5.90 for the Beatles. If they were like a band now, Ticketmaster would charge $5.90 million. I feel like that's an accurate number. Anyway, so they came to where she was in Pittsburgh, and she went to see them, and she was in love with Paul McCartney. She forgot that there were 3 other Beatles. She was like, it's just called the Beatle as far as I'm concerned.
And my sister and I went to the concert at the Civic Arena. Their second
Arena. Little bit of a slip up there, Grandma. Arena. All right, cool.
Fictional story using as many Beatles song titles in it as you could.
So in a twist of cruel fate, the station KDKA, or whatever it's called, decided I'm gonna be the first thing in the world to create fan fiction.
What?
they set off on this cruel tangent that is being still done today in the corners and depths of Reddit. My God, I didn't know it came from that, but apparently she was so good. Jean is a Gen Z over here. She wrote down all the fanfic she could possibly write. She added all the song names and graphic details that one would for Paul McCartney and the other three. And what do you know? She actually won, which is a pretty cool story. I'm not gonna lie. That's a flex and a half. Jean has she takes one dub in this episode, and that is it.
I kind of mentioned to my parents about this contest, and they laughed at me. Haha. You don't have a chance to win.
Bitch ass parents. Haha. You'll never meet Paul McCartney. Yeah, and here she is, 6 years later, $300,000 in debt. Boom. Has she met him? Nope. But it's okay. Her parents are gone. They don't need to know.
Concert at Comiskey Park. We went to see the movie Help. We stayed for a weekend and then came home.
It's kind of ironic. She went to see the movie Help and now she needs it all those years later. Hey, look, that's a cool story. Everything else about it is hilarious because she said, we never met them, but I did get to go on a flight.
Are you kidding me?
Which is a kind of a funny consolation prize. That's a very 1960s consolation prize. I didn't meet the Beatles, but I did get to have ham this week, which was pretty good for me, actually. That's pretty good. There was no World War, finally.
Even after she entered a new chapter in her life and went off to college, the music stayed with her every step of the way.
Wow, Drew is really, you know what? Drew is going to win the next Beatles competition with that beautiful creative writing. I didn't know that we were looking at her whole life story from her inception to the end or wherever we're going to stop with the story. But we're now in college. I thought we'd like skip to like, you know, she's here, you know, considerably older. But okay, she went to college. She's still thinking about the beautiful Beatles music in her head. That one concert that she won that one time.
I attended Penn State University.
Okay, we're really getting into the life of Jean right here. This is, I know things about Jean that I don't. I know she went to Penn State University. People will be like, do you know where Jean went to college? And I'll say, unfortunately, I fucking do.
And that's where I met my husband, Jerry. We were married in 1969.
All right, so that's a picture of Jerry and Jean right there. Married in 1969. Jerry looks like a kid that was forced to be in a picture with his cousin. So that's that picture right there. That's important. But Jerry's a good guy.
At our wedding at the chapel at Penn State, the pianist played "And I Love Her," which is a McCartney song.
Okay, it's a Lennon-McCartney song, you dick. She's conveniently forgetting the other person who wrote the songs of the Beatles. I'm just gonna say, okay, I'm just, one sec. There's not just one of them, you know, there's four of them, you know what I mean. Jean, we're gonna go to war if you don't acknowledge Lennon. By the way, Paul is my favorite, but the others are awesome too.
My husband knew that I loved Paul McCartney.
That's gangster. She said, the only thing I love more than you is Paul McCartney and Jesus, but Jesus actually is second. So it's Paul, Jesus, you, that flight I took in 1965, that was really good. So those are the four things in my life.
The concert within driving distance, he would get tickets for us and take me, and he always referred to Paul McCartney as my other boyfriend.
Is that weird, guys? Like, look, I know that's like a little joke, you know, people have, but I've been seeing these things on like the Instagram where like people will be like, my crush was this celebrity, so I married someone who looked like him, or I always say to my husband, that's my other husband or something. And I feel like, damn, that's, I guess maybe it's just a joke, but it feels like a little disrespectful that she has a Jerry, you know what I mean? But she's like, I really wanted a Paul. It's kind of sad. He even drove her to every concert. This dude is doing everything he can to keep Jean happy. And it seems like Jean only has one personality trait, which is Paul McCartney. So, okay.
Jean and Jerry had 3 kids together.
I would be very surprised if she didn't call one of them Paul, but I also think that would be freaky and wrong. What do you think her kids' names are? I think it's Paul, Pauline, and Paulette.
A career as a school teacher. She retired before he did, which left her feeling lonely in her idle time at home.
So then she became a teacher, and then she retired, and Jerry put on a few pounds. I'm not gonna lie, Jerry's rough. It's, you know what? Probably being with Jean, a little bit rough there. But she actually caused problems now because she retired, and Jerry's still out there working, putting food on the table. There comes a time in Jean's life when it's a problem because she's like, yes, you're putting food on the table, but what you're not doing is actually making me not bored. And so she has a problem, and now she's like suffering from boredom.
I was alone. I was lonely. My husband's work always came first. That's how it's been all our married life.
This Jean over here doesn't understand how houses work. She thinks houses, like you plant like a little tree like in SpongeBob and then a house just comes up. I don't think she understood that Jerry had to pay for things like tickets to the Paul McCartney concert every time, and maybe the house, or to keep the power on or something like that. I feel like she's just maybe not utilizing that little headspace she got there going on. She's just like, Jerry always put work first. He just keeps working. What is he working for? I'm retired. Why isn't Jerry retired? Jerry's like, I would like to not be homeless, to be honest.
I was an afterthought. I still had to do everything myself at home.
Is Jerry a maid? What the hell are you even I had to do everything myself? Like what? Brush your teeth? Did you want Jerry to brush your teeth for you? Maybe if you're geriatric, you fucking do that. I don't understand what does she want? Damn.
We would have Friday night date nights. That was it. That was sacred.
What the hell? Paul McCartney would not be happy at this. He'd write a song being like, bitch, please, get on your knees, suck on these. Or, okay, look, she doesn't understand. That's crazy. Friday night is date night, and she literally says it's sacred. Jerry is working 24/7 trying to put food on the table. She's lonely, and she's complaining about date night on a Friday night. I would enjoy that. That's a very good, that seems like the end of the week. Decompress, have a nice time with your wife or a significant other. How could you go wrong with that?
But that's all there was. And we would go on vacation once or twice a year.
I'm done with this. I'm done with her. Throw her to the trash, guys. Put her in the trash pile. She's retired, complaining about only going on 1 or 2 vacations a year. This is boomer talk. This is like such boomer talk. I know I'm a millennial. I know Gen Z is gonna be like, what is vacation? Man, we're gonna be working the fields again very soon. She only went on 2 vacations a year. My croissant is too buttery. Oh.
That's when Jean turned to face connecting with Paul McCartney's fans and sharing the passion she had since she was young.
So then she got so bored that she does the thing that all old people inherently do. They go on Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg created the social network for young students, and instead old people who are on their deathbed have been posting on social media. They've been going to Facebook. All the old people keep up with the other old people on Facebook. I don't know what that is, but anyway, she went to Paul McCartney's fan page and she did the most annoying thing possible. She started commenting on other people's posts about Paul McCartney, just reminiscing with them. This is like those posts where someone will be like, me and my son went to see Paul McCartney in the 60s. That was the most beautiful concert. Don't ask how me and my son both went. I don't. And then she would message and be like, yeah, well, I won a contest and blah, blah, blah. It's like that sort of person. I would hate that. This would make me get off Facebook, and I'm not even on it.
There were a lot of different fan posts on Facebook.
Oh, that Martin Luther King over here. There was a lot of different posts on Facebook that people post. AI is gonna absolutely ruin these guys. She's gonna see Paul McCartney come out and like start like breakdancing and then be like, oh my god, I didn't know Paul had those moves. Paul McCartney's gonna come out and moonwalk with Michael Jackson, and she's gonna be like, see, I told you he's not dead. I told you he was alive. Thriller was just a video to show that he was fake dead. She's probably a conspiracy theorist. Just, AI and old people is like the combination to end old people. Oh man.
I got a link that said, if you want to communicate with Paul, click this link.
I think maybe people like didn't lie as much in the old days or something. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to figure out what happened in the old days where people went wrong. Because I think maybe since lying became popular, you know, as soon as the internet took off, lying took off. And then people were like, you like Paul McCartney? Click on this link. Ah, Paul McCartney's going to be there. And then old people are like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah. That's what it is. You just say anything. I bet you I could message my granddad right now and be like, hey, would you like to go back to the glory days and relive 1945? Click on this link. And then I'll just scam him. It'll go to my Venmo page, $40 to relive the glory days. I feel like that's what's going to happen. I don't know. Old people love clicking links. They just love clicking fucking links. Stop clicking links. Sorry.
So I did. A couple days later, I got a Facebook message that said, hi, this is...
So then Paul McCartney does appear. This is like Aladdin, but for Jean. Aladdin. It kind of sounds like it's borderline terrorism. So he says, hey, gorgeous. This is Paul McCartney. Nice to meet you. Fantastic introduction, Paul.
No, you're not. And then he said, oh, yes, I am. And he sent me a picture of his driver's license.
Yep, that seems like something Paul McCartney would do to prove that he's Paul McCartney. So far, so good.
And could we please communicate on the Wire app?
Yeah, no, 3 for 3. That's the third thing that I think Paul McCartney would say. I feel like Paul McCartney is that kind of guy. He's like, yo, can we communicate on the Wire app? I'm pretty sure that's Paul McCartney, just what he was doing. Paul McCartney probably uses VPN, bro. Paul McCartney got like high-speed internet, VPN. He uses NordVPN.
Chatted off and on. And over a period of a few months, he said,
what's up, babe? What you like? I don't know. I don't fucking know what he would say. I can't imagine Paul McCartney saying, what is that thing that scammers say? Have you eaten today, love? That sort of shit.
would you like to meet me?
Oh, sorry, my bad. What are your thoughts on meeting in person? I think she's been waiting her whole life, Paul, since 1964 to climb down your door.
And I said, well, yeah. And so
she says that'll be a dream come true. She's withholding the fact that she's been literally bothering God every night, being like, yo, give me Paul McCartney. All right. Yo, what's up, G? Paul McCartney, please. All right, G. All right. You know, Paul McCartney's still around. So every night, bro. Every single night.
that I had to send so much money to a person whose name he would give me in Florida.
All right, so here's where it gets sticky. A manager messages her and says, in order to meet Paul McCartney, you need to pay $32,000. A very specific sum of money. I don't know why. And then apparently she's going to meet him in Florida. He, as far as I know, does not live there. I don't think she lives there either, so that's a random meeting place. Paul McCartney and Florida Man, not the collab that I thought.
So that I could meet Paul in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
And then she says Pennsylvania, which I'm pretty sure isn't in Florida, and someone has just fudged it.
I just want to meet him. But apparently he was interested in more than that. So I got a...
Holy shit, Paul McCartney is putting on the riz. He said 1 day isn't enough. I'd like to become more than friends. He was trying to book her for a week. Oh my God. He was trying to unzip her jean. You know what I mean?
I got a formal letter. Well, it never happened.
Oh, never mind. Well, that's over. Paul McCartney had to bail. He probably had a concert. Oh, man. For a dude who's pretty, up there in age, he's certainly trying to bang the grandmas.
His bank account had been locked because he neglected to pay a crown tax.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Paul McCartney. As we all know, he's a broke bitch. Look, I'm not saying that. I just heard on the streets. Streets talk. Paul McCartney don't got money. Ever since the Beatles broke up in 1970, they have not made another song. So that is like a long time without any songs. And I don't think he's made any money since then. So it makes sense when you really think about it.
And in order to unlock his money,
he has to reach level 93 Wizard Warlock 47 magic ability. And then he has to resurrect John Lennon and play Love Me Do twice backwards. And then he'll finally get his crown tax money back. Because this is the level of stupidity we're dealing with, right?
he needed to pay the tax of $80,000.
I mean, he's worth $1.3 billion. So if you minus 80,000 from that, I don't know if he'll survive. Gene, I think we're picking at straws here.
Which I had.
Okay, fuck it. She can pay the 80K. It doesn't even matter. Paul McCartney, the broke man himself, can't pay 80K. Jean somehow has this money. She has taught so hard that she has ridiculous amounts of money that I didn't think teachers made. Full disclosure, I don't think that's her money. Pretty sure that's the money of Jerry, who's been working while she was bored.
I filed a report with the FBI, and they were able to find Monica and arrest her.
So this is the craziest part of any scamfish I've ever seen. In the middle of this episode, after realizing Paul McCartney was not Paul McCartney, and he was just like Scam McCartney, she actually decides to contact the FBI and Pennsylvania police and say that like,
I gave away $80,000. Can you get it back?
And lo and behold, they do catch the person. And not only that, they order her to pay the money back. This is a huge dub for the I can't believe that the police did that. They were able to do that. And for whatever reason, Jean doesn't seem satisfied because she's like, what about my other money? Because remember, she also spent like $32,000 to meet this dude. That didn't come back.
I didn't get money back from what I had to pay to meet him. And that was about $32,000.
Do you like how she's so nonchalant and almost like dismissive of the cops getting her $80,000 back? She's like, what I didn't get back was the $32,000 that I paid someone willingly. So if you could even call them cops, you know, because they're bitches. Are you serious? These old people are just like tripping over, being like, whoops, take my money. And then trying to like get other people to be like, excuse me, this guy just stole my money. How could you willingly give someone $32,000 and then be mad that people can't get it back instantly for you? That's next level. I just like don't know if it's a certain age group or just these people. I'm pretty sure it's just these specific people who have like unbelievable amounts of like, they just want other people to do their bidding for them. I don't like people like this.
When I lost the $80,000, I confessed everything to my husband.
Oh, okay. So it was this point. She lost the money and she was like, Jerry,
I paid $32,000 to get with Paul McCartney for a week.
and then I paid $80,000 to
Get with Paul McCartney for like life.
Honestly, I still will get with him if it's real. So anyway, just wanted to tell you, your dick's small.
And he forgave me because he admitted that he neglected me. He never spent time with me.
And again, in a very cruel twist of fate, Jerry, the person who seemingly has given her everything, literally taken her on date nights, vacations, or probably pretty much, I can safely assume, put the roof over her head, also apologized for neglecting her, even though she went to potentially cheat on him with Paul McCartney. That's a nice wife you got there, Jer Bear.
And he could understand why I did what I did.
He could, of course, he could understand because he's an empathetic guy. He's like, I get it. But not empathetic because he wouldn't do it. He's a sympathetic guy. He's like, I cheat on me too. I understand. Wow. Jerry might be the nicest husband you could ever meet, and you're out here cheating or trying to. You're not even doing that successfully.
So we reconciled.
But everything changed when a tragedy struck.
My husband was killed.
I was not. That sound effect should not have gone there. I'll have to rest in peace, Jerry. Sorry about that one. My bad. Sorry for the fall.
In a traffic accident. It's not been easy being a widow.
I did not expect that to come so close. Yeah, anyway, it's probably harder to be a widow since Jerry's not there even more than he used to not be.
Because he's dead.
So that's tough.
I live on a 56-acre tract of land.
What the fuck is wrong with this?
Is this girl serious?
I did not know she was living on 56 acres. What's that dude, Christopher Robin from Winnie the Pooh? He had like I don't know if it was his, but there was 1,000-acre woods or something like that. She got 56 acres. I've never seen someone with more think that they have less. This is some old person type behavior. I don't think that I've ever even, I don't think I could think of what 56 acres looks like. Like houses now, like, you know, you try and buy a house, they're like, this is a shoebox, but you can't live in it if you squash yourself. She got 56 acres and she's like, who's gonna mow it? I cannot believe the problems that she has.
And I do that all myself. Nobody helps me at all.
You can get someone though. You can't, with that $300,000, you can pay someone to mow your lawn. Don't make it seem like you can't do that.
Nobody. I have 3 children. One who lives like 50 yards from me.
50 yards. Okay, so she takes the time also after Jerry's gone. She's like, I'm gonna start like aiming at the kids here, taking shots at them. She got them all in a line there. They're sitting on the stairs. She's like, yeah.
The reason you're on these steps is because you're my stepchildren, bitch.
Jean once again turned to Facebook looking for a sense of community.
I got a message from.
So even though Jean has now been taken for about $113,000, give or take, she's got 80 back from Facebook. This is where all of her problems started. Because her kids aren't mowing her lawn, she's like, I'm gonna get with Paul McCartney again. Because you kids don't mow the lawn, I want Paul McCartney to mow my lawn, metaphorically speaking.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Paul McCartney.
What a crazy thought from a crazy woman. I can't even be nice anymore. This is a crazy, she's a cray-cray.
And I told him about this man that was bothering me and being scammed in the past.
So then now she's talking to the good Paul McCartney. The first Paul McCartney was like, Paul Mafartney. And then now she's like got the actual one. So everything's good now. Her life is finally looking up. Maybe she'll find time to mow her lawn.
And he would like to be friends. Okay. I'm not a conceited.
And this Paul McCartney is good because he's not like, I want to be more than friends. He just says, I just want to be friends, so it's pretty good. Things are looking up. She says it's the official Paul McCartney. I don't know how she knows that.
I don't like to make myself out to be more than I am. but I'm a damn good writer.
Yeah, but you can't read the situation, so what does that do?
Similes and metaphors and whatever. He would write things for me. I would write him poems.
I think only a conceited person could meet Paul McCartney and then say, I'm a damn good writer in front of Paul McCartney. I don't think that's a sentence that would come out of someone's mouth if they had any common sense or sensibility. That's crazy. Him and Bob Dylan, those are the two that you're like probably not going to say, I'm a good writer to those two. So, wow. He's trying to show off. She's like, Paul McCartney, I could have wrote those songs. You're lucky I wasn't a Beatle. I would Yoko Ono the shit out of you guys.
And he said, I've been looking for you all my life. You're the soulmate I've been looking for.
Oh, okay. So Paul McCartney, who wanted to be her friend, is now confessing his love for her. He says, I think you are my soulmate. Jean just attracts the Paul McCartneys, doesn't she?
I'm not glamorous. I shared the same love of nature and beauty and animals and everything that he did.
It's bedtime, Gene. Come on. You gotta go to bed. You call every time whenever you say the word animals. Yeah, you go to bed. You gotta go straight to bed. Or the doctors are gonna come see you and take you away in that little lorry, that little red van of theirs, you know. Animals. I love Paul McCartney.
And animals.
Paul McCartney is my favorite animals. Cool.
I wake up in the morning with a message from him. I hear from him throughout the day.
So he says, yeah, Paul McCartney is messaging every morning saying, how are you doing, my love? And I feel like after he heard the word animals, he was like, I'm not checking, like, it's not a good morning text. I'm just like, you still alive? Okay, cool. Just check it. Just want to see.
If I have to go somewhere, he always tells me to be careful driving. I was in the emergency room over the weekend.
Well, you weren't very careful, were you?
With a suspected blood clot in my lungs.
Oh.
He was with me the whole time I was in the ER. I can't say that about any of my children.
So okay, but he wasn't with you though, right? Because like, I need to know, because she made it seem like he was there, and clearly because he's obviously not there, there's something wrong with that sentence. She's also taking shots at her kids still. My kids don't mow the lawn or find blood clots for me. Paul McCartney does both, okay? He mows my lawn on Sundays. He's my doctor on Mondays, okay?
He didn't want me to be endangered by any scammers or false people.
But too late for that, Mr. McCartney. But too late for that. She clicks every link humanly possible. I don't know why. She just likes being scammed. I think she likes the feeling. It's thrilling to her.
He has written songs for me and sent them to me.
Ah, here it is, guys. Here's the one. So Paul McCartney, you know, because he's the greatest songwriter. He wrote songs for Gene. I want you to hear these songs and ask yourself, is this Paul McCartney? You know, he's got one of the most recognizable voices of all time.
No matter where this life may go, with you I'm already home.
Yeah, there it is. I'm pretty sure he ended that sentence. He said, Gene, Paris, and a Gene. That's cool. That's some good lyrics, Paul.
Are you sure they weren't done by AI? I said, how am I supposed to know? He told me he was in his studio.
So her granddaughter actually, she's, you know, trying. She's like, Mima, is that AI? And then this is what happens when you just, we call it ostrich behavior. When you stick your head in the sand and you're like, I'm gonna pretend you didn't even ask that question. She literally is like,
how would I know if it's AI?
I don't know. There's no way of telling. And you know what? This sounds like Paul McCartney. I've listened to every song. She literally was at his live concert. Doesn't know if that's Paul McCartney. Maybe, just maybe, you need to get your ears checked. I'm sorry, I'm getting the gene. I'm the gene.
He made 4 songs for me and sent them to me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at some point, you just look at Jean for long enough, you have to marry her. I'm surprised he didn't do it through the song.
He asked me what my favorite cities in the world were, and I said I have a particular affection for Paris.
You don't think Paul McCartney's been to Paris before? All right, I'll believe that. But you're stupid, you know? You're stupid a little bit there. So they're gonna get married in Paris, a city that neither of them are from. That's good. That makes no sense to me, but you know, Paris is the city of love and baguettes.
His life is very private, but it involves real estate that he had to be registered in my name in France.
So she falls under zero pressure there by saying that, yeah, Paul McCartney, by the way, even though he hasn't been to Paris, he also has a house there. And it's actually not doing well because he can't pay the money. Because remember, Paul McCartney's broke because he hasn't made the Beatles broke up 50, 60 years ago now. And it's this beautiful place and it requires a deposit of $300,000. And Jean has to save Paul McCartney so they can get married. As we all know, Paul McCartney lives in France because he's French. Le Paul.
No, all my communication was through the realtor. There was a property tax of $700,000.
That's not a tax. That's the whole house right there. Do old people don't know money? Is this the thing? Is it like old people, like, you know, you just get to age, you're like, oh man, I used to work for a nickel and a shoe shine. Like they don't know anything. You don't think someone could just say arbitrary number like, yeah, the door costs 700,000, and you're like, that seems about right. Yeah, with inflation. Yeah. Nobody questions it. Nothing going through Jean's head. Just creative writing in her head. That door was super cool. I love the way it shone. I mean shined in the sun. Yeah. I love the animals in France.
Paul suggested Jean sell off her property. She agreed, secured $300,000, and sent the money right away.
So she also got shortchanged for her 56 acres of property, which Paul McCartney said sell, and she did. But she sold it like she was moving house on eBay or something. Someone said, I'll give you $300K for it. And she said, yep, that'll do. And then she was $400,000 short. By the way, if we're keeping count, she's actually sent $400,000 to Paul McCartney. Old people really got money.
I had to go through cryptocurrency.
Of course it did. Why the fuck didn't I think the cryptocurrency was cryptocurrency? You know, because it's French too. Oh yeah, why not? Why not? I just didn't. It's always gonna make an appearance, isn't it? Crypto and all, it's like you get to 70 and crypto, and then they all know exactly they know crypto wallets, they know the chain, they know how to send the money. I just don't understand what this is. Everyone getting scammed is like a crypto bro somehow. They know the exchange rate, everything. How does everyone do this?
The realtors will meet me when I arrive in Paris. He will meet me there and pay off the rest of the real estate tax.
GTA 6 needs to have a mission where we scam old people. Because it's not only funny, it'll be realistic at this point. That's all I have to say about that. I just can't imagine, like, her husband passed away and that's somehow the best thing he could. You know what I mean? Like, if he was alive to see this, he would have passed away. Rest in peace to Jerry, man. God damn. What the hell is Jean doing?
Which was $400,000. He and I would go to the realtors and pay it together.
She doesn't even have any more money. What are you going to do? Just be like, I slammed my hand on the table because all the money's gone. I was just waiting for Paul to do the rest. Why are you even going to Paris at this point? You love it so much. You're willing to leave your 56-acre property, your husband who's presumably there, like, you know, hopefully you put the tombstone there, something like that. 56 acres. And your shitty kids who you hate. To go to Paris? Really? Paris? Okay. If you like Mbappe, I guess, you know, that's the only thing I can think of that's good there.
That's what I wrote to the realtors, if this was okay with them. Well, I never heard back from the realtors.
I really don't think that you should be getting another 400,000. I really don't think the words another 400,000 should ever come out of your fucking mouth. Are you serious? I'd be sweating so hard if I was the grandkid. I'd be like, what the hell kind of presents could you have gotten me? You could have gotten me the real Optimus Prime, bro. You could have literally hired Michael Bay to get Optimus Prime. What the fuck are you doing? Brother, you could have bought the Beatles catalog on anything. I'm pretty sure you could have made virtual Paul McCartney for $400,000. You could have got a private concert. Okay, whatever.
For everything she's been through, Jean is looking for answers.
I pray to God that he is who he says he is. But
she's doing a lot of praying to God about specific Paul McCartney situations, and I don't know if God is capable of like that sector of thing. This is like one of those special, like, God, make me white. You know, it's like, I don't know.
This person makes me feel valued and loved and is concerned for my safety and security.
After losing like $500,000, she says this.
And that's more than anyone in my family.
Ah, there it is. She took the time to take shots at fucking kids again. Any given time, like she was like, yeah, ever since Jerry died, pop, pop, pop. I was wishing it was you, all my kids, pop, pop, pop. Don't really want you. Jerry should have pulled out, pop, pop, pop.
Thing that stands out the most is this is the Paul McCartney. I mean, this is the biggest singer in the world. And I'm pretty sure he's married.
So at this point, she's looking for answers. She prays to God, but Scamfish is there at least. So Drew and David sit down and they try and break down the situation. Firstly, Paul McCartney's married, happily. So that's a conflict of interest since he's married.
He needs her to pay property tax.
Just doesn't make sense. Now she's in another like quote unquote relationship with somebody who's claiming to be Paul McCartney.
Also, David can't say the word Paul. I don't know what happened there. Everybody in this episode is just shortchanging words. He straight up said Pope McCartney. I don't know. I guess, you know, after Pope Leo is McCartney, I suppose.
So she believes this is real because Paul McCartney that she's talking to right now actually created a song in her name. Let me play it.
By the way, this is another song. David has access to another song. This is the first time you heard Paul McCartney's second version of Gene, Don't Be Mean.
Gene, when the night is cold and still, I hold your hand and feel God's will.
What the fuck is this shit, bro? What the hell? You would have probably had a better chance if you wrote like a metal song. Paul McCartney's from Liverpool, England. Do you think that he has a southern accent from Texas? I'm done with this. She didn't realize, Jean, who went to her concert, she literally was there when the Beatles started, doesn't know how Paul McCartney sounds. Okay, Jean.
Definitely sounds like Paul McCartney.
It doesn't though. It doesn't, David. It doesn't, you know? It doesn't sound like Pope McCartney at all. So you can stop that.
But it doesn't sound like his music. It's obviously something we're gonna have to try to figure out and verify somehow.
Remember that time when we collabed with Trilogy and we
don't have to match patterns. Don't stop, please. It's not Paul McCartney because it sounds like a southern. I'm not, you know, he's singing like in a weird, like he's about to passionately make love to his sister or something. You know what I mean? Like. It's not Paul McCartney. That's a southern, very southern.
We got a good game plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a voice analysis and I'm gonna pull a handful of videos from Paul McCartney's YouTube page.
You don't have to pull from Pope McCartney's thing. Like, you just listen to Pope McCartney and you'll see that he sounds like himself and not a southern man with a guitar. You don't have to do all these, you guys are like bringing in tools that I've never heard of. Please just listen to the Beatles.
Page. I'll compare the audio with those and the audio that he sent to Gene to see if those actually match up.
I don't know why they're doing this. Who's it for? Maybe they're trying to really just show Gene how stupid she is. They're like, we'll go down to the finest detail. We'll go down to the MP3 file. We'll like compress it to show you how compressed your head is. You got lots of space you could be using in that head.
Let me just call it. Like, I like to start there.
You have reached the voicemail box of
Paul McCartney. Okay, thank you.
I like that. Paul McCartney. Okay, thank you. Sounds like you got him on like a Sunday night after the pub, bro. Paul McCartney, I guess. I don't know.
So it's interesting. So I just did that and then I just got a text message from community.com. So community.com is
basically after figuring out that she might have been texting Paul McCartney's like community account. Some of those like celebrities have like chain sort of texts that are just like keep you in the loop with what they're doing. I think that's where she got lost and she thought she was really messaging Paul McCartney, and then from there someone else messaged and maybe Gene got caught off guard. So that's sort of probably what happened.
Now that we had some more information to share, we sat down with Gene and Haley to break the news of who's behind this profile.
And now they finally have all the information they can give to Gene. So they're gonna try and like convince her that Paul McCartney is not trying to get with her. I just gotta say, Drew is looking really tired. I think he is done with this shit. I think he needs a rest. Y'all need to give him a pillow, maybe a sleeping cap, and I think he needs just a little rest right there. My boy is not looking good.
Hi, Gene, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And hey, Gene. Hi, Haley. Nice to meet you. My name is Drew.
See, that was weird. That sounds like Drew just woke up and he was like, and then hello to both of you, and it's me. My name is, and it's still, and it will be Drew, and it is Drew. Sounds like he just like, you know, had kicked into overdrive there.
Well, let's kick things off. How are you doing, Gene, by the way?
I mean, this person has messaged me every morning for over a year, and
it's been going on for a year. I guess if you're gonna spend like $400,000, you better get a year's worth of that Paul McCartney, that sweet, sweet McCartney.
The first thing we had been given was this 212 phone number. I text that number and we got a text message back right away. And so
this is the thing that I find very interesting. You and me know that this is some bullshit, right? Like, we're looking at this, we're like, ha ha ha, these people are so crazy. It is hard for David and Drew to convince people or communicate to them certain things that we might know or take for granted. Like for Paul McCartney, his chain message to most people are like, oh yeah, obviously that's not actually Paul McCartney. There's like some person messaging on behalf. But maybe if you're old enough or even young enough, I remember I used to love this Seinfeld. This is a show. I remember when I first knew about Twitter before it was called XXX, I messaged Jerry Seinfeld. I was like, what's up, bro? I was expecting him to message back. Obviously not. You know, you're either too young or you're too old. You're like, oh yeah, Paul McCartney's gonna message me. That sounds about right. You'd think that like when you're older, you get like more, you know, headstrong, but like after a certain age, it like resets and you're back to zero and you're like, oh, Paul McCartney, wow, woo-hoo.
Could go and join and start text messaging back and forth, and it's just a way for people to connect.
See, look, it says, hi, it's Paul. She'd be just like, you know, somebody would be like, damn, Paul, me and Paul McCartney message all the time. I'd like to stay in touch with you through this tour and beyond. Add yourself to my phone by clicking the link. Cheers. Wow, that's crazy.
Access to Paul McCartney through here. It's kind of a generic thing that Paul McCartney does for all the people that are his fans, and so it's a way for him to communicate.
She didn't understand a word of that shit. She did not this is like, you might as well have been speaking in Espanol, because none of that. That's one of those when you're required to nod your head because people want to move on with the convo. You're like, yeah, okay. Not a word of it got through.
The next thing I want to talk about, so we had been given an email. It was managementmpl@yahoo.com.
He's just looking like he's done. Drew's looking like one more old person and I'm out of here. One more Chris Brown scam and I'm gone. I think the next celebrity scam, Drew's just gonna be like, I'm out of these. Drew's just gonna start his own, get some sense with Drew.
With Paul McCartney.
What about the real estate agent that I recently sent $300,000 to?
Oh, that's real, and your money's sitting right there, and your house is right there. What do you think? It's fake?
So we looked up the email address for Dream Homes, and that's not a real estate agent's email address.
Oh, Gene, we looked up fate for Dream Homes, and well, it was a dream because it's not real.
So next thing we want to talk about is this manager. Her name is Rachel. David and the team actually reached out to her.
So she actually was like, whoever the scammers were like pretty legit who the management company and like the people were. So they got the names right, which is kind of like sadistically impressive. You're like, oh, why did you go through the trouble? David actually reached out to the actual like sound team and like manager, and they literally got back to David saying that's a scam, but they were nice enough to actually respond. This is Paul McCartney's actual management being like, nah, that's not him. It's actually incredible the amount of like people who are trying to help this lady have come through for her, and she still fudges it up.
Obviously not real. If something seems too good to be true, it likely is. Best wishes, Rachel Smith.
Okay.
She's not taking it well. Every time, every little okay is like one step closer to not Paul McCartney, and that is just crushing her.
That he owns.
Okay.
Does that kind of hit home for you, or have you guys had discussions about maybe keeping your...
No, because she sold her home. It doesn't hit home. It hits the rock or whatever else she lives under now, okay? Can you stop?
I don't know how to manage your Instagram account.
But that sounds like it would be a job. Like in that case, he should be paying you to run that.
Yeah, so Paul McCartney also wanted her to pay him to run his account. Thankless job, if you will. But she didn't see any real problem with that other than that she was an English teacher and that English teachers cannot run Instagram accounts. There's a conflict of interest apparently to Gene. But the real question is, why does she keep doing this? Which David asks, and her answer is predictable. She was lonely.
Because I'm attached to him.
No, she was lonely, and she wanted to live the fantasy of Paul McCartney, who she actually had a crush on. And finally, you go on social media, you see the official accounts, you think, I could get closer to them. I've never been this close, because before I had to write letters and fan mail, I couldn't get anything back. Now Paul McCartney is saying, hey, do you want to chat? Message me. Of course you want to live the fantasy, and you did such. That's literally what's happening.
Screams out that this could possibly be real.
Because ever since I saw his picture back in 1963,
oh, this is gonna be some bullshit.
I have prayed continuously that I could meet him in my lifetime.
Drew said, what evidence do you think this is real? And she's like, I have prayed for like 60 years to meet Paul McCartney. When, you know, we were going through some tough times and I just wanted Paul McCartney to swoop down and save me like little baby Jesus. When Mother Mary came to me, I told her to shut the hell up because I'm trying to find Paul McCartney.
And I believe in God, and I believe in prayer, and I believe in miracles.
Well, you're gonna need all fucking three to get your money back, so, you know. start praying.
But Gene, he's married also.
Gene's like, yeah, I believe in miracles. Hopefully, miracle will happen and she won't be there anymore. I've been praying on Paul this whole time, you know. I've been stalking him.
Well, apparently he's not, but it hasn't been made public.
There you go. Gene has an answer for everything. She's praying for a miracle. She's praying that that bullshit will be true that she just made up.
And if you want something to be real so badly that you're willing to ignore any red flags, that's hurting you. That's not helping you.
It's like the money for them doesn't, it's like a little like, yeah, 400K? Yeah, no. Pretty big amount, right? Anyway, how you doing? Yeah, no, it's really, it bothers me, you know?
The last thing that we want to talk about is, nice to meet you, my name is Drew. These songs that you've been receiving from Paul McCartney. Through these songs...
Drew even, you see, Drew is done with this shit. He's like,
Paul McCartney.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The love of his life.
Okay. Songs, we actually sent them to a specialist to check.
You don't need to do this, Drew. You don't need to send it to specialist.
The feeling of a human performing this music.
You don't need to send it to specialists. Drew, you wasted money. Like any person. Do you know what I mean? Like you can throw a rock on the street and hit someone who's a Beatles fan. And they'll be like, that's not Paul. That's not John. That's not Ringo. That's not fucking George Harrison. That's nobody. That's a guy who's from the South.
Does that make sense?
So it was like AI?
That's what we're getting at. And so, but we use like data to...
Okay, so now they're gonna try and explain how it works. I'm gonna explain it to you because what they're gonna explain is some crazy shit. So on a frequency spectrum, you have 0 to 20,000 hertz. That's the range of sound that any person can hear. They usually can't hear the top and bottom part, but when you sing, it creates waveforms, and certain people have certain waveforms. You can tell. AI will just be blocks because it's not a human. That's the difference. That is literally a very simple explanation of how you can tell what's human and what's not. Humans have inconsistencies, AI, like breathing, etc., that you'll see on the waveform. Let's hear what these guys have to say. Oh man, they put it through the music. They really put it through AI. They analyzed this. Okay.
When the wavelength was the most different, and it almost doesn't even sound like Paul McCartney, and I want to play that for you.
He's like Morpheus at this point. He's trying to explain the Matrix to Gene, though. Not to Keanu Reeves. Like to a random woman walking across the street. He's like, come here, come here. Before I explain it to Keanu, does this make any sense? And then he just says crazy stuff.
Is where I knew I'm already.
This person is taken.
I didn't put the sound in. I didn't do anything. I didn't put background music. I don't know what this is. This feels like some brainwash tactic or something. It doesn't feel like... None of that sounds like Paul McCartney anyway. They're playing like the middle of a Paul McCartney. She's just looking there like, I don't know which one's the AI. It's just like a bunch of random sounds that they got and they're like, did you see the difference? Did you see?
It does. It's a computer. It says, okay, no problem. I'll take what you tell me and I'll turn it into a song and I'll do it. But they're not matching Paul McCartney's song style.
It's not the style, Drew and David. It's the fact that Paul McCartney is not a southerner and doesn't have a southern accent or makes southern music. It's that as well.
This person that you're talking to, where do they say they're located right?
It's supposed to be in the UK.
And so this person that clicked on it is actually in the Netherlands.
I did not see that coming. I thought it was gonna be the classic Lagos, Nigeria. Shout out to the Netherlands. Maybe the economy is tanking so bad that even the Dutch are trying to get in on this. I did not think they would do this. They seem like the nicest, most chill people, but it turns out even they can be scammers. You can do it too, guys. Apparently everyone's getting in on grandma's retirement fund.
And that was on his birthday too, specifically when he should have been definitely in the UK.
Yes, because as we all know, you have to be in your country of origin on your birthday or you will get fined and go to jail for life. Thank you, Haley.
So there's nothing I can do to get my money back.
But it's good.
Maybe you could try not giving it away in the first place. Maybe you could try not falling over and throwing $400,000 in people's faces. Like if that's all you wanted to do was get your money back, maybe you shouldn't have parted with it so easily is all I would say. I know that doesn't help, but it feels like a very odd question to ask given that you are so easily willing to give $300,000 to the France economy, which turned out to be the Dutch.
It's going to be difficult and a long road to get your money back, and we can try to find some tour dates or different things so that you can actually meet the real Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney, David. Paul McCartney. He's just can't wait to get through this episode. He's just like, I'm gonna condense his name. His name's gonna be McCartney from now on. And we're just gonna call him that so we can get through this episode. I can sleep.
Gene, he's married.
You've explained everything. It all makes sense. And I'll just end the relationship.
It's not a relationship because he's not talking to you. He's also married. Okay.
It's very, very important for you to understand that.
Okay. Well, just keep us updated on anything that you find. Goodbye.
The episode ends with Jean coming to terms with the fact that she's not dating Paul McCartney, and she says she's gonna end the relationship. We never really get closure as to whether she does end the relationship or not, but I have a feeling that deep down in her mind, she still thinks she's talking to Paul McCartney. It's a very sad episode because somewhere deep down, I would like to be part of that Netherlands team. I'm just saying, times are tough, guys. Some of these people really don't seem like they want the money. Okay, I know it's wrong, but man, some of these people just feel like they are just willing to give up the money at any given opportunity. I have seen a lot of these celebrity scams. I don't know who's gonna be next. I feel like you need to leave it in the comments. Tell me who you think is gonna be next. But there are some crazy people. This is one of the biggest ones because it's like saying Michael Jackson and not understanding how he sounds when he sings. It was a very weird one for me, and I gotta say, she doesn't seem like the sharpest tool in the shed, so I hope she actually gets her money back or maybe gets some sense. But Jean, you gotta keep a sharp eye out there and, you know, go watch Paul McCartney once in a while. He's a great singer. Anyway, take care. This is my favorite Beatles album along with Rubber Soul. I don't know if anybody cares. Thanks. All right, bye.